Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. After our adventures in Hero Realms yesterday, we finally gotten the Phoenix's Fury repaired, so now we're going to head back up in target for today from Legion Wargames. This is a game that dumps you into the middle of World War II Europe in a bomber in one of the air campaigns over Nazi-occupied Europe. A little bit of backstory on this game. I've kind of turned on it a little bit, and I'll talk more about that in the review after the game's over. But I have started adding the after-action reports to my sessions of Mag 23 Guadalcanal, and I've really enjoyed having the after-action report component in that game. So I want to see if adding the AAR here helps my feelings out towards this game, or if I'm still kind of feeling a little bit chilly toward it. So I've had to recrew the Phoenix's Fury due to... Let's see if I've got my last crew sheet here. Yes, I do. As we might recall in our last mission, most of our crew got captured. In fact, only Matthew and Tiger were rescued on the last mission. Everybody else got captured. So that might be part of why I'm starting to turn on target for today a little bit, because I'm still a little bit salty about most of the crew getting captured in that last mission. So that's also part of why I wanted to give this game another chance. But I think we're all set up here, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first thing we need to do is figure out where our target. Actually, we figure out the target first. So we're on the Gazetteer chart. So I'm also going to be making notes as I need to, so I can figure out so I can work on the after-action report. To roll the target up, we're going to be rolling 2d10. I'll be reading these blue, then white. Let's see, that's a 20. So we're on campaign number 1, targets, and 20 means we're being sent to Emden to work on industry. I'll go to the Gazetteer, which this is. So for the 8th Air Force, which we are part of, Emden is actually all the way in Zone 7. Alright, so now I need the zone worksheet. I'm going to be compiling these notes off shot. 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll effectively have another turn in Zone 7 as we turn around. Right. Target type industry. Okay. So now we roll for where we are in the formation. That'll be a D6 roll. And I'm going to be rolling on these two charts next. First for box cell position, and then actually we can probably roll both of these at the same time. Then for the bomber's cell within the cell. So we'll grab the red die as well. So I'll be rolling the red die I'll be rolling black for the cell position, red for within the cell. Alright, so black says we're in the low cell, and the 4 says we're bomber. Actually, that's a 2d6 roll. I forgot that's a 2d6 roll. So we're in the low cell. And then we'll grab a 2. Actually, we can probably use that. No, we'll re-roll that. All right, that's a 7, so we are bomber number 15. And let me see if I can zoom in on the B-17 itself. It might be a little bit hard to read, but we are... Let me grab my laser pointer. Yes, right here. Bomber 15. We are right here in the top view. Front view is here. Middle view might be a little bit hard to see, but this one's us down here. Right, so now we'll zoom other out. Zoom the rest of the way out. Okay. So now that we know where we are, formation position, and now we determine fighter escort. So I'm rolling on this table for campaign 1. We're going to, actually we can probably just roll for all of that. That'll be a single D10 roll. So primary target is zone 7. And a 9 says we're going to have good fighter escort cover for zones 2 to 5. Alright, I gotta check the modifier. I gotta go back to the gazetteer for a second, so bear with me. That's over water. -1 water. -1 water. 0 water. 0 Germany, and then we reverse all of that. Okay. And then that modifier that I was just compiling, is for the roll when we get into determining whether we've got any German fighters coming at us. So I think we're all set there, which means now we're ready to go into takeoff procedure. So now I'll be on table... So now I'm starting on table 3-1. Actually, I've got to make a few notes here for the logbook. What do I need to know here? So we're going to be over water for most of this. That'll be something I want to know for the... That'll be something I want to know for the AAR. Low cell. Bomber 15. Good fighter escort. Into zone 6. Okay, so now we're rolling for the weather over the base. We're setting this mission in September. We're setting this mission on September 10th, 1942. So now we're on the weather We're on the weather table. No modifier, so it's straight roll. That's an 8, so we've got good weather. Good weather, okay? Now we roll for takeoff. Okay, we need to see if we've got any kind of problem here. So now I'm on table... So now I'm on table 3-2 for takeoffs, and I did not mean to jar the camera there, so sorry about that. All right, a 2, if weather over base for the takeoff is poor, there's a formation accident, but there's not. So takeoff is okay with note D. So takeoff, okay. So now we move into zone 2. This will be a water zone. So we're rolling on... So now we're going to start rolling on a bunch of tables. So we roll for weather. That'll be a single D10 roll. No modifiers to start with, so just a straight roll. That's a 3, so we've got haze that we're looking at. No modifiers. All right. We would have to roll on the mission recall table if there was a if weather was 100% cloud cover, but it's not, so we're clear there. We do have to check for a mechanical failure, though. That is another D10. That's another D100 roll, essentially. A 35 says we're all clear there. Okay, so now we roll to see if there are contrails coming in. A 1 to 3, we do have contrails, which could cause us some problems. Nine says we have no contrails. So rolling on table 4-4 next. Now we're rolling on table 5 to see if we have German fighter resistance. We are modifying by -1 since fighter escort's good. And we have a total of a -3 modifier. Actually, I'm going to make some notes on the zone worksheet. Good. Until we get to zone 5, and then we'll pick that back up. All right. So we're looking at a total of a -3 modifier on a 1d10. That's a 9 minus 3 is 6, so we've got moderate resistance. Okay. Another D10. Modifier here is +1, since German fighter resistance is moderate. A 1 plus 1 is 2. We've got no waves coming at us. Which means we can move right into, since we got no waves coming at us, we can move right into zone 3. Which is another water zone. I'll move the plane shit in a second. We should have been in zone 1, moving up to zone 2. Now we're in zone 3. Rolling for weather, which gives us... Alright, so weather, no special modifier here. 7 is 50% cloud cover, which doesn't trigger us to roll on the mission recall table, but we do check for, I believe we check for a mechanical failure every time. Yes, so we check for a mechanical failure. "13 says no problems there. Next we'll be checking for contrails. Four just barely says no contrails. And now we need to check for fighter resistance. We have a -1 from zone 3. Another -1 for good weather, so we've got a -2 modifier total. That's 0. -2 is -2, so no fighter resistance. Which means we go straight to zone 4, which is another water zone. So zone 4. Rolling for the weather, which I believe is going to be a +1 because of 50% cloud cover. Yes. Yes, +1. If previous zone was 50% cloud cover. 2 plus 1 is 3, so we're back to haze again. Mechanical failure. That's a 92, so no mechanical failure. We'll check for contrails. Zero says we've got no contrails. And then resistance. Actually, let me check something. I have a feeling you're supposed to treat a 0 as a 10. It's never consistent when you look at... It's never consistent here. 0 is a 10, not a 0. So I should have had heavy resistance probably in zone 3, but I'm not going to worry about that now. Let's see, what were we looking at? So zone 4 is a total of a -2 modifier. No, actually, we've got 50% cloud cover. Actually, yes. -2 because fighter escort is still good, and because the zone in the gazetteer says -1. Alright, 3 minus 2 is 1, so once again, actually we've got light resistance coming at us. And then -1, since German fighter resistance this turn is light, rolling for how many waves we got coming at us. 8 minus 1 is 7. We've got 1 wave coming at us. Which means now we'll be rolling on the German fighter resistance table, which will be a 2d6 roll that will read APA style. For those of you who aren't familiar with APA, if this was our roll, we're going to read black, then red. If this was our roll, this would be a 23, not a 5. So hopefully that makes sense. Now we need to see what we've got coming at us. Let's see, that's a 32. No attack. Alright, fighters driven out by other bombers. Okay, so this seems like it's going to be a fairly quick patrol, or a fairly quick run, so we're over water again. Rolling for weather. One, it cleared up on us in a hurry. Okay. Now we check for mechanical failure. '53 says no problems there. Contrails. A 4 says just barely no. Then German fighter resistance. We're in zone 5, so we've got a -1 modifier, plus a -1 for fighter escort, so a total of a -2. Seven minus 2 is 5. We've got moderate resistance. And that's a +1 on 5-2, so now we need to figure out how many waves we've got coming at us. Three plus 1 is 4, gives us 1 wave. So let's see what we've got coming at us. That's a 23. We've got an ME1, a Messerschmitt 110 coming at us at 6 o'clock low. Let me see where the... That's Romania. So we need to find an ME110, which I've got that right here. And that's coming at us at... Let's see, what was that? A 23 at 6 o'clock low. So we'll move him over to the board right there. And now that we're getting ready for combat, we've got everything set there. Except I think the escort... Yeah, the escort's actually just going to drive him off. Because the reason we know that... Actually, we have to roll for the fighter escort. So now we're on table. Now we're on table once it decides to focus. We're on table 5-4. We've got good cover coming in. And this time it's a 2d6, but we'll sum the dice like normal. That's an 11, so under good cover. So with good cover, this one will get driven off. So never mind, we don't need to do anything with that ME110. That was our one wave, so now we're in... Oops, we should have been in zone 5. Now we're in zone 6. I'm going to start a new page here. This is another water zone. We'll roll for weather first. The weather cleared up on us, so I can't imagine weather's going to be a big problem here. Three, we've got haze again. We've got haze at us again. Now we need to check for mechanical failure. '81 says we're all clear there. Now we check for contrails. Five says no contrails. Now we check for German fighter resistance. We are looking at a straight roll here because we don't have the escort, and we didn't have contrails formed. So yeah, just a straight 1d10 roll. That's a 1, so we've got light resistance. And we need to know the number of waves, which will be a -1 modifier on this roll. Five minus 1 is 4. We've got 1 wave coming at us. That's a 41. No attack. This has been a pretty quiet run. Alright, so that was our 1 wave. Now we're going to be into the target zone. This is Germany and target zone. Alright, I know I've got... Here we go. Alright, so we start by moving into the target zone. We'll roll for the weather like usual. Actually, I've got to find... There's a set of tables here for... There's a set of tables in here for when you're in the target zone. We start with the weather first. 9, uh-oh, that's going to be a problem. That is 100% cloud cover. I don't think we're going to abort the mission, though, in the target zone. Roll on this table when entering any and all zones prior to the designated target zone. Okay, so we are in the target zone now, which means we don't roll for that, but we are going to have problems with target visibility. We're going to have a +2. We're going to have +2 on the target visibility table, so now I'm on this table on a 1d6. That's a 1 + 2 is 3. Target is slightly obscured. Somehow we can still see the target. So now we check for a mechanical failure. I only needed the one zone worksheet. I'm trying to get a bookmark here. So it looks like we still go through everything here. So mechanical failure. '90 says we're all clear there. Right, now we still check for contrails, I believe. In the target zone, I would think we would check for contrails even in the target zone. I'm going to go with that we do. Is there a modifier for that on... Yes, so we do still check for contrails. Actually, I don't think we do if there was 100% cloud cover. Let me just double check that, but also negates the die roll for contrails. Okay, so not needed on 100% cloud cover. Okay, so now we check for... So now we're checking for the German resistance like normal, and that'll be a single D10 roll. And I believe this is a straight roll. I don't think there's a modifier. Okay, -2 if 100% cloud cover. But a +2 if the fighter escort is none. Oh, I didn't pay attention to that. So we've got a +2. Actually, this is a straight roll. It's -2 if 100% cloud cover, but +2 if the fighter escort is none. All right, that's a 5. So we are facing moderate resistance. And then a +1 on 5-2. Yep, plus... Oh, I wasn't paying attention to being low. Good lord. Okay, so... There's a +1 for moderate and another +1. So this is actually a +2 roll. That's a 2 + 2 is 4. We've got 1 wave. So it'll bring us back to the German fighters. We've got 1 wave coming at us. That's a 13, which is an ME 410 at 12 o'clock high. So an ME 110 at 12 o'clock high. Alrighty then, so now we go into combat. We didn't have any escort. We don't have any escort to apply here. So now we determine... So now we have to allocate our defensive fire from 12 o'clock high. We can aim... So at a 12 o'clock high, We can aim the nose gun at it. Nose gun will be fired by... Nose gun, I believe, is fired by the bombardier, so that'll be Tango taking a shot at that. We can also aim the... We can also aim the top turret at that, which will be... Top turret is... Top turret looks like it's the engineer probably firing that. So, nose gun... Nose gun, and that's, we established that was the bombardier, so Tango firing that one. And then the top turret, that one is the engineer, Sting firing that one. Okay, and that's all we can use to fire at it from 12 o'clock high. Now we have to determine the German pilot skill. So now, actually, let me leave that bookmark in here. Now we're on the German fighter's pilot skill table. The lower this roll is, the better for us. That's a 1d6 roll. That's a 4, so he's an average pilot. I'll just grab a green, and remember he's actually average. So now we're looking at defensive fire, which we're going to be on this table 5-6 that we're attacking at. Let's see if there are any modifiers that we need to be worried about here. There are not. +1 for defensive fire. Actually, we're against an enemy 410, so we've got a +1 on that. So it looks like +1 is all we get. First up, we've got the nose gun. So we've got Tango taking his shot first. That'll be 2d6, and we want to see an 8 or higher to hit. So we are going to be rolling... So both of these are +1. Is there anything else we need to worry about? I'm just going to look at that real quick. No. So just a +1. So looking at the nose gun first. That's an 8. That's going to be a hit. I'll roll for both hits at once. So the nose gun scores a hit, and then the top turret. Top turret's is actually going to hit as well because of the +1 modifier. So the nose gun was an 8, which modified to a 9. Top turret's a 7, modifying to an 8. So now we're rolling for hit damage on... So now we're rolling on this table for the ME410. I'd like to see an 8 and an 8 or up. So let's see what happens from Tango's hit first. That's an 8, which is enough to actually just wipe out that ME410. So that one's destroyed. And then for grins, we'll see what would have happened with Sting's hit. A 3 would have been an FCAB, so fighter would have continued the attack, and then would have broken off after. I'm trying to remember what the FCAB means. Fighter continues attack and breaks off. Right, so we've got that, and that was our one wave. So Tango's saying he nailed Tango's going to say he nailed that one, but we'll find that out at the end of it. So now we've got to determine our flak over the target. No special modifier here. So we're rolling 1d6 for this one. That's a 5, so we're looking at medium flak. Medium, which means we'll need to roll on the flak hit to the bomber table. We're looking at medium flak, so we're rolling 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And that's a 2d6 on that. All right, that is a 5, so the first roll is a miss. Next roll. A 4 is also a miss. And our last roll. Five is also a miss, so we managed to get away from all of the flak. Wonderful there. We didn't take any flak damage, and now we have our bombing run. Alright, so now we're going on to table 6-6 with the bombing run, and we have a -1 modifier since the bombardier is on his first mission. And somehow, yep, the bombardier's on his first run, so we're rolling a, like I said, we're rolling a +1, or a -1 roll, I should say. We want to see a 3 and up. That's a 6 -1 is 5. The bombing run is on target. Now we're rolling for bombing accuracy here. Okay. Let's see what we get here. A 10. That's pretty good. 50% bombing accuracy. Right, on target, yes. 50%, but we need to get that back home. Determine additional flak. So it looks like we need to roll through the flak sequence again. So flak once again. It's a D6, and we have no special modifier here. Once I make this flak roll, I do need to step away and turn the laundry, so bear with me for a second. 6, uh-oh, we're looking at medium flak again. Medium for established, that is 3 rolls, which I will roll for those after I come back from turning the laundry, so bear with me. Sorry about the delay, folks. Had to go deal with turning laundry. Anyway, we just got medium flak, so now we need to roll for our next round of flak hits. First up, we've got a 5, which is a miss. Next roll. Is a 3, so we're going to be taking a hit from that. We'll do all 3 flak rolls, and then we'll roll for any hits. And a 10 is a miss as well. That was close. Okay, so now we're rolling on the area affected by the flak hit. So let's see what we pull here. That's a 10, which is a nose hit. Nose is going to send us to A1, which is not... Oh, here we go. A1, nose hit. All right, so that's right here. And that'll be a 2d6 roll. As I'm dropping my dice and my shaker. Brilliance tonight, huh? There we are. Come on. There we go. A 6 is a bombardier hit. Good thing the bombs are away already. So now we roll for a wound on table 517. So now we're rolling... Where is that table? Ah, here we go. So now we're rolling on 517 for the bomb wound, for the bomber wound on the bombardier. Jeez, I can't stop dropping dice tonight. That's a 3, so he takes a light wound. There, here we go. Light wound on the bombardier. So Tango's got a light wound now. Take a quick drink of my Crystal Light. Now we're determining German fighter resistance again. We have we're looking at a straight roll here because remember, way back when we determined weather, we were on 100% cloud cover, but there's no fighter escort, so this is a straight D10 roll. One is going to be no waves. So 1 is actually light, and a -1 if it's light, +1 if we're low, so a straight roll. That's a 3, so we do have no waves. So we should have been turned around already. I rolled for waves already, so now we're turning around and we're turned around and headed for home. So we're in zone 6 again, which is a water zone. Weather. Two should be all clear. Yep, all clear. Let's see. Checking for mechanical failure next. 14 says no problems. Now we're checking for contrails. Which one says we do have contrails form, which is going to cause us some problems on 5-1. So German fighter resistance, we're looking at a +1 for contrails and a 0 for zone 6. Okay, yep. So this is going to be a +1 roll on a D10. Five plus 1 is 6, so we're looking at moderate resistance. And we have +1. We have a +2 modifier on the number of waves we have coming at us. 10 plus 2 is 12, so we've got 3 waves coming at us. So we're dealing with 3 waves. We'll roll for each wave. We'll deal with each wave one at a time. So we're looking at heavy resistance this time. Yikes. So our first wave. An 11 is a lone ME 109 at 6 o'clock high. So let's track down an ME 109. At 6 o'clock high. Okay. All right, we don't have any fighter escort, so 6 o'clock high. We can assign the top turret. The radio room and the tail guns. And the, tail guns. All right, top turret. Tail turret. And the radio room. Top turret is once again the engineer, so that'll be Sting firing that. Radio room is our radio operator. That's Cabal firing that one. And the tail turret is Tiger. Checking for the skill on the German pilot. That's a 1. He's green as grass. So now we actually want the green, and that'll make it easier for us to hit him, harder for him to avoid us. So now we roll for our attacks. I'll mark off the top turret, the radio room, and the tail guns. We'll roll the top turret first. We want to see 8 and up on 2d6. We're looking at a plus. Let's see, it's an ME 109. We're looking at a plus. Looks like it's only +1 because we're looking at a green fighter pilot. So this is for the top turret first. That's a 6 + 1 is 7. That will be a miss. Now for the radio room. That's a 10 + 1 is 11. The radio room will score a hit. And then the tail guns. Seven plus 1 is 8 will also score a hit. Now looking at an ME-109, let's roll for... We'll roll for Cabal's hit first. A 10, that's just destroyed. And then Tiger's hit. Six would have been an FCA, Fighter would have continued the attack. But we nailed the ME-109 thanks to Cabal. At least for now, it's thanks to Cabal. Before we roll the second wave, once again, I need to step away to turn the laundry. So bear with me while I do that once again. Sorry about the delay, I had a voicemail I had to deal with. So that was actually pretty good timing to step away because we'll be getting ready for wave 2 here. And we still are under heavy resistance. So let's see what we're dealing with here. That's a 56. Possible, we've got a random event. So no attacks, I don't think. Let's see what happens on... here's the random event table. Okay. So we've got that table. We'll be rolling 2d6 and summing them. Alright, that's a 5. Aggressive little friends. Add 1 column to the right on table 5-4 for the remainder of the mission. Poor becomes fair, fair becomes good. So we're already at good. Let's make sure there isn't anything crazy that happens there. Add one column to the right on table 5-4. Okay, so we're already at good cover, which means we don't get anything there. So this is for wave 3, our last wave in the target zone. That's an 11, and we've got another ME 109 at 6 o'clock high. So we'll bring that back. 6 o'clock high. Just like before, we'll send the top turret with Sting, the radio room with Cabal, and the tail gun with Tiger. So tail turret, top turret, radio room, right? Top turret, radio room, tail guns. Okay. We've got all that straight. Now we need to figure out the pilot skill. He's average this time. So we've got no modifier here, which means now we're on straight rolls. First up, we'll roll the top turret. Once again, we want to see an 8 or up, and I don't think we have any special modifiers here. No, straight roll. That's a 10. That'll be good for a hit from the top turret. Then the radio room from Cabal. That's a 4. That will be a miss. And the tail gun. That's a 6. That'll also be a miss. So we only have... All right, so we only have the one hit from Sting against an ME 109. That's a 6. Fighter will continue the attack. Now we roll for the fighter attack. So we're rolling on table 5-8 from 6 o'clock high. He needs at least a 7 to hit, but he's -1 because his fighter continues the attack. Eight -1 is 7. Will be good for a hit, which means we need to roll for the number of shell hits. 6 o'clock. $12. Yikes! That's going to be 5 hits. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Right. So now we're rolling for... Now we have to roll for the hit effect multiplier. So we're on this table now, table 511. That's a 1d6. Six says we double that, so we actually got 10 hits that we have to deal with. Oh joy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now we have to deal with the... I'm trying to remember which table we roll on next for the location of shell hit for light wound. That seems like narrative detail. Location of shell hit for serious wound. There's got to be a table for what we actually hit next. Several of the German fighters appear on table 511. That's not what I want to see here. It's probably... Okay, yeah, so it's area damage table, so from 6 o'clock, so we're on this table from 6 o'clock, and we've got 10 of these to roll for. Jeez Louise. And these will be sums. Four is a radio room hit from, what is that, 6 o'clock high? Yes. Radio room. We're going to follow each of these all the way through, so now we're looking at the radio room. I'm not going to show off these individual tables. Alright, that's an 11. The oxygen supply, uh-oh, that's going to be a problem. O2 supply. So now we have to roll again on... So now we have to roll to see if the oxygen's out for the radio room. Two, the oxygen is out. That seems like it's going to be a big time problem. So 514 for the oxygen out. Hopefully there's something that will explain the oxygen being out, but I know that's not anything good. Oh, rules for oxygen out, so that's in the rules of play. So see section 514. All right, so we've got to drop out of formation and come down to below 10,000 feet. Down to 10,000 feet, okay? Yikes. Okay, we've still got 9 more hits to roll from that one shot. That's as if we didn't have enough problems. We still have 9 more hits to roll. What did I just had that chart. Oh, here it is. No, here it is. All right, so we're from 6 o'clock high. Ten is superficial damage, so we get away with 1 there. Essentially like a surface hit is kind of the way I'd think of that. Seven is another superficial damage. Next hit. 8 is a tail hit. Let's see, where is the tail? Here we are. Up. 7 is a rudder hit. Which with 3 hits is inoperable, so landing roll would be -1 if we take 2 more hits. And we've got 6 more hits to roll, so that's very possible. Nine is a Bombay hit. Thankfully we let our bombs fly already. All right. That's a 9. That would be a bombs hit. Since we already let them fly, no effect. Next hit. Five is a waste hit. Let me find the waste here. Here we are. Eight is the right waist gunner. So right waist gunner is going to take a wound. And now I need to find, I had the wound table earlier, which I think is in, here we go, bomber crew wound. That's a 4, so he's going to take a serious wound. Which means we're probably going to need to have the ball gunner jump in. Well, we'll have to see though. All right, so that's a serious wound for the right waist gunner. $11 is a nose hit. And nose, here we are. $11 is compartment heat. And that's a 1d6 to see which department or which compartment heat is out. That's a 5. Both of their heat is out. Both. That seems like it's going to be another problem. Let's see. So yeah, we're definitely going to be dropping that. We're definitely going to be dropping to altitude, dropping below 10,000 feet, assuming we survive this. Because we've got 3 more hits to go. And we've got another round of combat coming yet. So we've got another at least 2 rounds of combat coming. 6 is a wing hit. We've got to roll a die. 1 to 3 left, 4 to 6 right. That's going to be a left wing hit. Four is a wing flap hit. So the left wing flap. You have to roll to see if it's inoperable. That's a 2, so that wing flap is inoperable. Yikes. 2 more hits. Three is the pilot compartment. Let's see, pilot compartment. Five is a co-pilot wound. Single D6. He takes a light wound. He'll walk it off. And our last hit three is another pilot compartment hit. Four is now a pilot wound. So now we're rolling for a pilot wound. He takes a light wound. And I think I'm actually going to call it here. I'm going to assume that things continue to go haywire on us. And we end up getting... I don't think we're going to end up getting shot down again, but it's definitely not going to look good for us. So that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. I wasn't expecting this to take quite so long. So my opinions on target for today. I will admit that I kind of came into this game a little bit, I came into this playthrough being a little bit sour from my last playthrough when a lot of my crew ended up having to bail out because the bomber had a lot of problems with it and we ended up having to bail out. I'm kind of starting to feel like, while I really like the narrative that this game's putting together, and this game has you put together, I want to feel like I'm actually affecting the story and not just like a passive observer in it. Because all you're doing really is you're rolling dice and going from chart to chart. Yes, and I think Ruff was talking about this on the War Room on Saturday as a potential intro game. I don't know if I'd even really call this a game necessarily, just because it's got so much of that passive aspect to it where it's almost... I was thinking about this as I was going to get one of my loads of laundry tonight. I've called other games guided storytelling in the past, but at least in some of those games, you're actually kind of affecting the story in the game, whereas this one, you're really not affecting the game. You're not really affecting the story at all, other than like, oh yeah, you can determine which turrets you want to have shoot at the fighters that are coming at you. But I don't feel like you really affect the story at all in this game. And yes, I really do like narrative aspects in these war games where you're telling that story. But I want to feel like I have a part, and I'm kind of rambling on this, but I want to feel like I have a part in telling the story, not that I'm essentially watching the story being told to me. If I want to watch the story being told, I can watch a movie for that, or I can watch like a TV show, like a MASH or Married with Children. I'm kind of just looking at my collection of DVDs and Blu-rays here in the game room. But yeah, it's very simple, but it's time consuming a bit where you're going from chart to chart, which is good for the simplicity of the game. But if you're wanting to feel like you're a part of the story, this game, in my opinion, and I don't know about Target for tonight, but I have a feeling that's going to be more of the same. But I feel like this game really fails in that aspect of making you feel like you're part of the story, where it's almost like handheld storytelling in a sense, where you're essentially watching the story play out rather than necessarily telling it yourself, if that makes sense. So that will do it for this playthrough of Target for today. I don't know if I'm going to be getting this to the channel much anymore, but that's a slight ramble on my part. As for what's coming up on the channel, Saturday morning, I'm tentatively planning on having a stream of Stratomatic Baseball, because Mystical Munchies on Saturday afternoon will be continuing out of the official Diablo cookbook with the entree, Necromancer's Broiled Fish. Sunday, we're continuing the fall campaign in Astro Knight's Eternity, and Wednesday next week, we're playing Age of Innovation from Fuhrland Spiel. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.